And Ray, let
So
me know if I'm wrong here, but
okay.
I'm pretty sure that the same concept with like the potential energy turning into thermal energy, it also uh, like a part of it turns into um, like sonar energy. Like what's sound? Like the energy of sound. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you're trying to say,
And
but
that's why in space, like when you're flying in space, there's no like it's not the same as like an airplane flying in the air, right? You wouldn't hear that like
no,
sound,
of course you wouldn't hear it because
right?
there's no medium for it to propagate. But I'm saying
Yeah,
because sound requires a medium to propagate. So technically, yeah, there would be sound energy
yeah,
being
like
created.
either way, you wouldn't hear it because there's no medium. But what I'm saying is that there's no air, and so there's no propagation of that like I don't know what it's called. I need to Google this. Sonar energy, like sound energy. What's the name for that?
I know what you're saying though. I don't know. I kind of slips my mind.
Okay, it just says sound energy. So
Okay,
anyway,
sound sound energy. Okay, so sound
but
energy. Yeah, it does.
that's another example of like something like friction, where even though it's very like a very small amount of energy goes into like producing a sound, but it's still it's like a one-way street, right? Once you
Hmm.
produce that sound, you can never like absorb that energy back, and
Exactly.
yeah,
And interesting thing about I don't know why I just thought of this, and I think this is a really interesting fact. In any rocket launch, if you've ever seen a rocket launch, you've probably seen right near the engines these huge water towers. And right before they launch, they spray exorbitant amounts of water, like so much
exuberant.
water you don't even know. I mean, some people call it wasting, but it's for a reason, and that's the reason I'm trying to give you. But basically, you see, exorbitant amount of water just poured onto the engines, and you're like, well, why is this happening? So sound energy plays a much bigger role than we think, right? And we usually think, oh, like sound is just, it just allows me to hear it. But when we come to rockets, yeah.
The word you were looking for is exorbitant, not
Oh,
exorbitant.
oops. Incorrect grammar right there. Thank
That's
you for
fine though.
correcting me. Sorry, say that again.
Exorbitant.
Exorbitant. Really?
Yeah, exorbitant.
I never knew that.
Exorbitant.
So it's
I just
exorbitant.
googled it. I just googled it because I was
Exorbitant.
like, what you said
Exorbitant.
didn't sound wrong. It didn't sound right, so I
Interesting.
googled it. But
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay, sorry. Well, I stand corrected. So anyway, so the purpose of the water is basically, again, sound energy plays a very big part in rockets, mainly because the when the fuel is ignited in any engine, right? The moment the fuel starts exhausting out, you get a very, very large sound. And usually, this sound can be heard from kilometers and kilometers away from the actual launch site. And this is why, if you actually, you probably have seen, YouTubers or people filming rocket launches. And in these cases, they can be, 20, 30 kilometers away and they can still hear the rocket launch. So the idea is the sound created is so high that if not dealt with, it would. Now, this is kind of funny. It would literally destroy the engine that was making the sound. So the moment it launched, it would have just broken apart because the sound is so high near it. So what the
Wow.
water does is it basically calms it all down. I'm not entirely sure on how the water exactly removes the sound. Maybe a quick Google search might help. But basically, the idea is to remove all sorts of sound waves or sound energy that could potentially hurt the rocket. So, I mean, look out for these water tanks. You'll see it near any launch site. And almost again, before any rocket launch, you'll always see this water that's being thrown. And then that's kind of, I mean, I didn't know this before. And I think this is a really interesting fact that sound can destroy an entire rocket. So I think it's a pretty cool fact.
And just talking about sound, I just wanted to say, quick little fact, that the loudest sound ever recorded was actually in 1883, and it was the
Okay.
eruption of a volcano called Krakatoa.
Oh,
And this was the the loudest noise ever. Of course, this is why it's like a famous thing. I actually learned this in my physics class because we were dealing with waves and sound waves and stuff like that.
okay.
But apparently, the sound waves recorded from this eruption traveled the globe 4 times, and people heard the eruption 4 times. That's
What?
how insanely
You're
loud.
joking. 4
That's how
times?
insanely loud this was. Yeah.
Bro, what?
times.
What does that even mean? Oh my god! I mean, I know that's not what I meant, but like, oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane.
Absolutely insane.
Wow.
So
That's
just quick fact right there.
quite commendable.